law. Okay. The statute, or statute similar to this one has never been taken to the Court of Appeals. Similar statutes have been declared constitutional. What hasn't been challenged is something called the risk penalty, which we're going to get to. Compulsory integration only arises when there is some landowner in the unit who has not signed the lease. Keep that in mind. It only occurs to you when you've not signed the lease. All right, so just keep that in mind. So, if you've signed the lease, you're already in the unit, they just give you a notice of that. That's the bottom section, right there. This is voluntary integration. Once you sign a lease, there's an integration clause, there's a unitization clause we talked about you have to have. That puts you in, you don't have any rights except what's in your lease. Okay, you didn't sign the lease. All right. You have three choices. And you don't have a choice not to take a choice. In other words, there's a default. If you do nothing, if you said, to hell with you, I don't want you on my land, I don't want you to take my oil and gas, I don't care about this, I don't want this on my land, the answer is too bad. Because what's going to happen is that you become a statutory royalty owner, which I call the ostrich, put your head in the sand and do nothing. Unfortunately, that's what happens. If you do nothing, then you get 12.5% royalty from the gross sales of production. You don't have to put up any money, and you have no liability whatsoever. But the 12.5% royalty is the historical law. If you remember Jim's royalty provisions, the best was getting 25%, meaning half that. And you don't have a choice in this. In fact, they give you, there's going to be an integration hearing. They give you a 30-day notice that there'll be a hearing in Albany, not locally. You got to drive over to Albany if you want to contest this. If you do nothing, automatically, if you make no election within 21 days, you don't have to wait in fact, you can't wait to the hearing. You have a 21-day election period. The company gives you an election form. If you ignore it, this is what you get. Now, you got a lot of money in your pocket, ready to burn. And they say, fine. I like the Ewings. You can be a participating owner. If you own that little square in the bottom, what was that, 9 sections, Jim? Did you have 9 sections? You own a 1/9. And let's say the company tells you at the hearing that it's going to cost $3 million. I'll make it easy. $9 million to build that well. You've got a 1/9 share. At the hearing, you have to make that election to put up your $1 million in cash within the 21 days. But at the hearing, in 30 days, you have to have a cash ready. Get a certified check. I don't know where you're going to get $1 million. I don't know where I could get $1 million in 21 days notice for a highly risky, speculative oil and gas drilling rig. And by the way, you have to elect this. And if you do, you have complete liability for your amount and for a percentage amount of any damages. If there's a lawsuit, you got to pay your percentage in that. If they need more money, you have to pay in that. It is a high stakes, unlimited raises poker game. All right, so let's say you put up your $1 million. And then it turns out it's going to cost an extra $900,000. So they give you notice, give 48-hour notice to put up another $100,000. You say, I'm tapped out. I can't put up $100,000. So you don't put it up. What happens? You shift it down here. The law throws you into this. Even though you put up $1 million. Too bad, it's gone. You're here. Fold. You had to fold. When you folded, it became this. You'll never collect that $1 million again. This is the way the law is written. Isn't this wonderful? Okay. So that's, you get 21 days to make that choice. You have to put the money up in 30, but you have to choose irrevocably within that 21 days. The third, this is called the non-participating owner. This is very interesting. In the non-participating owner, you don't put up any money. But the company gets to charge you, in this case, as postulated, $3 million against your proceeds. is to keep the first $3 million. And they don't have to pay you anything until they've collected $3 million from that well. Now this puts you in a kind of a Faustian bargain between the devil and you, because if you did nothing, you would get 12.5% no matter what. If that well produced anything, you get 12.5. If you put up your $1 million and it's a dry hole, you've lost $1 million. That's it, it's gone. If you need an extra 100,000 and you don't put it up, you're down here and you lost your $1 million. Up here, you don't put up anything, and the first $3 million of production attributable to your property that you can keep. There's one little glitch. The companies for themselves wrote in a little loophole. If in the non-participating owner, you are a lessee, then during the recovery period for that 300%, you get a graduated royalty. On the first 100% of well costs, a 6.25% royalty. On the second, 9.38. It's really 9.275, but the legislature can't do the math, so they took it up to 3.38. And the third is 12.5. Now, once they recover that $3 million in a postulated circumstance, then you become a working interest. And you get 1/9 after the expenses of that month's production, you get 1/9 of the proceeds. Now that's a lot. Not 12.5% of 1/9, but 1/9. This, I believe, the 300%, I think it's challengeable. I think if you say, okay, this whole process is constitutional, but the 200% over the 100% of cost is unconstitutional taking. Why do you have to give up 300%? Why do you have to give up another 200%? If this were rule of capture, they could drill a well on their property, and you could see the results before you have to invest. In this one, you can't see the results. You can't see the seismic, and you can't drill. They've taken away your right of drilling. And you have to pay a 300% penalty on top of that. How does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense legally.